Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Beth, and I am with the Education Alliance. At the Education Alliance, we work to connect businesses and community partners with public schools across West Virginia. And one of the ways that we do that is through our program called Virtual Work-Based Learning. This gives students direct access to professionals and industries that they may not otherwise experience. And today, we are excited to partner with Element Federal Credit Union, giving you a behind the scenes look at real careers in real workplaces. With that, I'm happy to turn things over to Shantae from Element Federal Credit Union.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shantae Ellis, and I am the Director of Community Engagement and Foundation Relations here at Element Federal Credit Union. We are so thankful for the opportunity for the Education Alliance, and thank you for having us, Martinsburg High School. I hope that you enjoy this session as much as we are going to enjoy in presenting. So today we have choosing your financial institution. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. So if you see me looking a little sideways, that's why, because I'd like to be able to see you and see the screen at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. So if you have your phone or a tablet, what I'd like you to do is join in the conversation with us. So we'd like to start our sessions out with getting to know a little bit about who you are. I know you didn't want to be on screen and you don't have to, but what you can do is engage with us on virtually. So go ahead and scan the QR code. And then I'll ask you a couple of questions just so we can get to know what you know, who you are, and a little bit about your tourism class and what you're learning. Okay, we have 3 so far, 5, good. Numbers growing. Mr. Walker, how many we have in the class? 7?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have about 9.
Okay, we've got 7 participants joined at this time, so we're missing 2 more.
You been there yet? You're in there? Hey, I'm trying to get in. We got one that's trying to get in there.
Okay, we'll give him a few more seconds. And then after this session, I hope that you learn a little bit about the differences between a bank and a credit union, and specifically a little bit about Element Federal Credit Union. Okay, he's joined in, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So my first question to you is, do you own your own bank or credit union account? Okay. Sort of. We got one that does. Okay,
Yeah,
numbers going down.
we're
So
having some
most,
Wi-Fi issues, I think.
okay, well,
Or
it's
a few
fine.
seconds. Yeah.
We're giving them a few minutes to answer the question. No worries there. So it seems like the majority of the class doesn't. So everybody's answered so far. So the one that said yes, can I ask where you have your account?
He said Navy Federal.
Yeah, Navy Federal. Okay, that is one of our shared branches. So that is a good option. So one of your family members must be in the military. Is that right?
No, my mom works for. He said that his mom works for him.
Oh, your mom is
Oh,
government,
good.
works for the government. Good. So that is another way to get a Navy Federal account as well, because I have one too, but I also have one with Element Federal Credit Union. That's how I know they speak to each other very frequently. So here's another question for you. Now, this one is a little bit harder. I sent this to you, so I'll have you a few minutes for you to think about it. So I know you thought, well, we're in tourism class. How does what does a credit union have to do with what we're doing? So how might credit unions help businesses, workers, and communities that rely on tourism? Now, this is the end of the school year. You might have already talked a little bit about this, but go ahead and put some responses. I'm not sure. That's valid. Okay.
Yeah, we've not touched
Mm,
on credit unions too much, so this will be good for them to get some
okay.
exposure.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Hopefully you can continue the conversation after this session.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we have some really good responses though. So someone said help finances and offering lower fees, provide accessible financing. They provide accessible financing, help finances. What else? They offer bigger loans. We're going to talk about what that means and how we're able to do that. They might help business and workers and communities that rely on tourism by helping business with financial aid. I like that response. Good. Okay, we only have a few more minutes, but some good responses. I love that people who didn't know were honest and shared that they were not sure. I can appreciate that. So the biggest way that a credit union can help, so tourism and credit unions are connected through how money flows through the community and how financial institutions support local economic activity. So while tourism brings visitors and spending, credit unions help manage, circulate, and invest that money locally. And so I can speak specifically for Element Federal Credit Union. We give back to our community specifically because we are a certified financial institution, development financial institution, and we have opportunities like this to pour into our local community. So we are often in the community in different schools doing financial education, meeting people where they are. We also provide workshops for adults as well. We are also found in a community, setting up vendor tables, providing information, engaging with the community in ways that a typical financial institution wouldn't. And I'm going to get deeper into that a little bit later into our session. So thank you for participating. So here are some of the basics. So before we get started, who knows the difference between a credit union and a bank? You can just yell out some answers.
Banks are for-profit, owned by shareholders, while credit unions are nonprofit, owned by its own members.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, she can see our slides, I think, because that's what it is. I love you, smart. That's good. I love that. So yeah, she's
They
right.
have to come up.
I didn't realize that. I thought I clicked that side button that said they couldn't see it, but so she's exactly right. So credit unions are member owned. So we are considered what is called a nonprofit. We're not like a traditional nonprofit, like a shelter or the YWCA or YMCA. But in the financial world, we are considered a nonprofit. Nonprofit means that our members own a portion of the financial institution, and we do not profit from what we make. So we also are governed by a board of directors, and that board of directors works very closely with our CEO, and actually they are our CEO's boss. Those members can get to vote on how the credit union is run. And so if you are a member of a credit union, you have a voice in what services that we can provide. Now, bank, a little bit different. And so I want you to know that there are options out there. Bank, they are for profit. And so whatever funding sources that they have, they use their money to make sure that their business is running. So for profits are not shared with their bank customers. So the bank customers, they do not have a voice in how the bank is run or the services that the bank gets to provide. That bank is fully run by the paid board members that are on staff. Customers have to say no, have say in how the bank is run, and so that have no say in how the bank is run when we're talking about a bank. They are anyone can be a customer. So when a credit union is a little bit different, there have to be some stipulations in who our members are. Now, so you can save your money in a bank, you can save your money in a credit union, but you also have that piggy bank. I don't know about you, but back in the day, I used to put my money in a shoebox. And so we shouldn't be doing that now because why? One, it's not safe. But one of the ways people like to do that, and we do that here where people save all their coins and you can bring in your coins to our coin machine. You own that money. That money specifically belongs to you. But you don't get any interest on that money. It is what it is. So if you put $10, that's it. You have no interest by the end of the month. So limited features, limited security, not safe. So if you have a shoebox under your bed, like I used to do, your brother or sister, next thing you know, it's gone. You don't have any proof of who stole it and how it got lost. So I also want you to think and consider your access to both a bank and a credit union. So here, a bank has ATMs. They're usually in bigger cities, major cities. So when you're thinking about traveling, going on spring break, or going on summer vacation, you have access to your money anywhere in the world you may go. Now, credit union is a little bit different. We are on a smaller scale. So a credit union like Element, our 4 branches are located right here in the Kanawha Valley. However, our reach is much greater than that. Our reach is across West Virginia. So if you are in Martinsburg and wanted to open up an account with Element, you definitely could do that because right now all banking is electronic. So you don't ever have to come into a branch if you don't need to. Second, access meaning a bank. However, if you need to use another financial institution or convenience store, get ready to pay those larger fees. So for me, I've been really conscious on how much money I put in at the ATM and try to avoid it as much as possible. Who uses cash anymore, right? Nobody would. I mean, you can tap your phone, you can just tap a card. You really don't need cash unless you're going to a local basketball game or a football game where they're collecting cash. And that's literally the only time I go and have cash in my pocket. However, on the credit union side, ATM networks that allow you to use other credit unions or convenience are free of charge. For example, the young man who said that his mom works at USAA. So when I use my debit card here at Element, I don't have to pay for it. There's no fees. So I'm very strategic. If I do need cash, I'm only swiping my USAA card here at Element because I know that I'm not going to get charged. However, if I go down the street to another credit union or a bank, I know that fee is going to be high, anywhere between $3 and $5. So banks like Bank of America or any of those larger service banks across, they may have 16,000 bank locations across the world. Because we are a co-op and we have shared branching, we double in services. I just spoke to a woman here. She came from another bank in another state and decided to come here and open up an account because she was continuously using her shared branching. So like a branch like USAA, we have shared branching, which doubles in locations for us. Banks are typically are larger and often offer great technology. For whatever reason, credit unions have a reputation as not having great technology, but that is definitely not true. We are on par with all technology, and anything that you can do at a larger bank, you can also do at a credit union. I will tell you that our CEO is great with technology, and she was one of the first, I'm going to say this again, that she was one of the first to start doing banking online. So here, I want to talk to you a little bit about employment opportunities because as a tourism class, this is going to be really important to the work that you do within the community or whatever you decide to do with your tourism knowledge. And so here at a credit union and at most credit unions and banks, you'll find some similarities in the roles that are located in each. And so you can go to a bank and you'll find a teller. We have tellers as well, loan officers, collection, and branch managers. So today I brought with me a few of my team members because I want them to share with you who they are, what they do, and then how this could be an employment opportunity for you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Emily. And Emily Elder is our state account manager. And so she is going to share with you a little bit about who she is and what she do. All right, Emily, take the floor.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the time today. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to share kind of about me, my story, and more about Element. Um, Kind of put it in perspective, I was just in high school only 4 years ago. So I graduated in 2022 and took me a long way here, but it has been a short time, it feels, even in just 4 years. I um started it off with high school being a little bit different. COVID affected my high school years, so I had to do virtual learning for a lot of my time in high school. And then after that, I during that actually, my family ran a small business. And during that, I learned a lot. I learned how to be independent. I learned quite the work ethic, and unfortunately, that business did have to close, and during that time of us closing, I had a regular customer who frequented often. We had kind of gotten close. She told me about an opportunity here at the credit union. She kind of just told me that they were offering some baseline like teller opportunities, and that she could maybe get me in with an interview. And so I took a moment and researched the company. I, looked at their social media, I looked what they put on their website, and I felt very aligned with what they had promoted and what they had said. And so I felt like I could see myself fitting within Element, and within what they promoted. So I felt comfortable enough to go through with the interview. And I was super nervous. I hadn't really done, I mean, anything else in the world. My last boss was my mother, so this was the first, big job for me or opportunity. And I got in and I started as a teller, which can be quite intimidating. You handle transactions, lots of cash coming in and out, And kind of like Shantae touched on, we have debit cards. You can tap. We're transferring. We're using Cash App. We don't handle cash anymore. So that was intimidating and quite the learning curve. How to balance drawers and make sure transactions were properly done. The member was getting the right denomination back. So that I started there and definitely had to keep working towards confidence in the job. After that, I went into communications. I did work myself up towards where I am in seating today. Communications taught me a lot of like internal uh, processes at Element, de-escalation tools, how to be kind of quick thinking. When you're on the phone, you don't have much time to kind of fix and sort things out, so you have to be a little bit quicker. And after that, those challenges, I got to be where I am today, which is account manager, which comes with a lot of compliance and regulatory landscapes. I have to make sure that everyone is up to standard, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And along with that journey, Element gave me the tools that I needed to get here. You have to want to learn, you have to keep being creative and show up for yourself. I wanted this opportunity, so I showed up, I learned, I took all the tools and opportunities I could. Even like I went to a conference with Element and my CEO, Linda Bodie. Last year, we went to Washington, D.C. together and we stayed overnight. I got to um, talk to so many people within the credit union industry. It was amazing to be such a young person and get to talk with people within the industry who, they pretty much I got told all the time that I was the future of the credit unions. There's a lot of young people who are finding their footing in the financial world. It's a beautiful ecosystem that you can find unique places to fit yourself in. And I guess my main thing is you don't need incredible amounts of like education or things like that. I'd say just take opportunities that you didn't expect.
Emily, you talked a little bit about someone approaching you and asking you to interview. So
Yeah.
what you took the interview, but what prepared you for that interview before you got there? That
But
made you feel comfortable enough to take the interview?
yeah, that was really just what was promoted. I saw community, I saw authenticity. A credit union is a lot different than a bank, so they promote a lot differently.
So didn't you work with your parents beforehand?
Yeah,
Can you talk a little
yeah.
bit about how that prepared you?
Yeah, so working with my parents, I was young and I had to do a lot of operations within that business. I handled a lot of our like POS systems. I learned how to communicate with just customers in general, like customer service. You have to find confidence in your voice and how you present yourself in the work field. So that is really kind of how I started out with a work
Good.
ethic and figuring that out.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your
Of
story.
course.
So our next presenter is Tatiana Wood, and she is one of our loan officers. Tati, you're up.
Thanks, guys. Good morning. I'm excited to be speaking with you all today. I appreciate the opportunity. I have worked with Element Federal Credit Union here for 5 years as of this month. So this month marks my work anniversary. I was born and raised here in Charleston, West Virginia, went to Capitol High School and graduated in 2013. Shortly after graduating, I really had no idea what I wanted to do, like what sparked me, what my interests were. So I decided to pretty much just stay close to home. I went to the University of Charleston for a few years. During my time there, my mother had taken me to Element to open up an account, my very first account. And even at that time, I had no idea what a credit union was or how important credit was in general, even though my mom did try to instill that into me. Um, Looking back, that simple step of just opening that account really has shaped me into the person that I am today and has pretty much gotten me where I am today, I will say. Kind of like Emily, I started in as a entry-level teller. And again, like Emily, I went into communications, doing online accounts, like she said, a little bit more internal work there, taking inbound calls, and also managed remote deposits. I later moved into risk management. So I helped a little bit with collections, asset protection, things like that to pretty much keep delinquencies and defaults at a minimum with the credit union. A few years later, I went on to be a lending officer, and I've been only one of two for about 3 years now. So we are a little smaller here. I now get to sit on the opposite side of the desk. So back in 2013, 14, I became a member. Back in 21, during the brunt of COVID is when I started here. And I now get to sit on the other side of the desk and help educate people like yourselves, young adults, even people older than me, and teaching financial literacy, credit building, the importance of credit, providing people with resources, assisting in credit building and credit repair. Kind of like you guys, when I was in high school, we didn't have opportunities like this. So I'm really thrilled to be, sharing some information with you guys. And I appreciate the opportunity with Shantae to do so. We weren't taught in high school the importance of credit or financial literacy, things like that. So now that I'm on the other end of the desk, now I take pride in what we do as a credit union. Again, we're member focused. I try to give people what I didn't have sitting on the other side of the desk. Just helping with credit repair, credit building, educating people, because some people come to me with no knowledge, to help get you started on the right foot and put your best foot forward. Some small steps that you can take now, and as an adult, any decisions you make now can stick with you for years, good or bad. So it is good to, educate yourself and start now, like student loans, like you guys were talking about, buying your first car, getting an apartment, even in the future, buying your first home, those all involve credit. So they're all good goals and major steps in your life that you'll have to take small steps and work towards, but you can do it. If there's anything that you guys take away from this presentation today, it will be to start now, ask questions, start saving, ask questions about budgeting, ask questions about credit, just ask. Like Emily said, you guys are the future. So it kind of really does start with you and your children and so on and so forth. Just realize that small decisions do matter. So no matter how small it is, or even just a small seed that you plant, it can really help develop into your adult years and in your life. Understand you don't have to have everything figured out, right away, but you can always work towards short-term or long-term goals. And credit unions can help you provide those steps, whether it be education, getting your first car loan to get to and from your first job, or your first credit card to help with your first year of college, things like that. I hope that one day you guys end up finding a credit union that helps you get into your element, kind of like Element has helped me get into mine, because I honestly wouldn't be where I am today without planting that seed and making that first step in opening an account with my mom. So just little things like that can go a long way. But I appreciate you guys' time this morning.
Thank you, Tatiana, for sharing your story. I'm sure that the students at Martinsburg will find some encouragement or feel inspired by both your stories. And
Absolutely.
I hope that will help them with their journey in tourism.
Thank you, Sean.
Those were the two roles that are the same in a bank. But what makes credit unions different? And so there are some roles that are a little bit different, specifically my role. So my role as the director of community engagement, I have a unique role where I get to help build membership. So I am basically one of the faces of, along with the CEO, the faces of the credit union, would get me out to build those relationships that we love to have. One of the partnerships that our newest partnership with the Education Alliance has been one that I feel that is going to be very beneficial to us and has been so far. It also has been a strong relationship in building those relationships with schools, and getting it to the forefront with our young people, because that's where it starts, right? We have to start with you so that you can build a better future for the state of West Virginia. And honestly, that's what tourism is about. And that's what building our economic impact in our state is about. The other unique part of our credit union is that we have an esports facility. I don't know if your school has an esports club or esports team, but we have one of the only esports facilities in the state owned by a credit union. So we have on with us today our esports coach, Mr. Rob Vesperin. Rob, take it away.
Thank you. Hey everyone, good morning. Like Shantae said, my name is Rob Fesperman, and I'm the director of the esports program at Element Edge at Element Federal Credit Union. Just wanted to share a little bit about esports, specifically about what I do with the credit union. Esports in general is like a multi-billion-dollar industry that's growing rapidly, and it's starting to sprout up here in West Virginia. Like Shantae said, we have a facility, and we host tournaments, and we have a few different club teams that I manage. I also am responsible for like planning events, like doing these tournaments and streaming these tournaments. Also, I do like marketing and promotion for our events and for our teams. And I manage the teams myself. I organize practice times for the teams, and I organize, just scheduling in general. Some more of the things that I'm interested or that I'm involved in are just making sure that we meet like program compliance, like when we do tournaments or when our teams compete, that we're meeting compliance nationally. I also am heavily involved in recruitment, like trying to find competitive players that are good to join our teams. Those are some of the things that I do on the day-to-day basis. Also, just wanted to share with you all opportunities that are available to you in esports in your state. There the most successful esports program in the country, a college, is a college called Concord University. They're right here in our backyard here in West Virginia. They're actually the most successful team in the entire country, and they've won just last year. They won 3 different national titles, and they offer tons and tons of scholarship money to individuals who are serious and are good enough to be on their teams. There's many colleges like Wesleyan College, WVU, WVU Potomac, WVU Tech, and there's a long list of other colleges that offer scholarships for esports. Another thing that we provide at Element Edge is coaching. If you're interested in like joining your high school team and then going on to play on a college team, it's completely feasible and absolutely something that's within your reach. If you just need some guidance or some help, just feel free to reach out, and we're more than happy to help you get coaching. We offer coaching for free. We can help you like get an idea of like what you need to be working on to be competitive at whichever game you're interested in. So yeah,
Okay.
that's basically in a nutshell
So guys, Rob is being extremely modest right now. Last summer we actually not over the winter time, we ran one of the largest esports gaming events in the state. And so that it was sort of a big deal, because if you know about anything about the different levels, we had reached one of the top tiers in order for us to do that. Not to mention, we're going to be running a esports academy this summer for young people, and we're also going to have the first girl Fortnite team in the state. And so he's being very modest right now, but I hope that you get excited about esports as I have, because it's a great opportunity for anybody interested in the world of esports. So thank you, Rob.
Mhm.
So we're going to continue our conversation with thinking about your money and how it can work for you. So on average, the largest credit unions have lower fees than the largest bank. And so how are we able to do that? We are able to do that through our membership. So the more membership we have, the lower rates we are able to offer to our members. And we take pride in doing that. So that's why I work so hard to try to build up our membership, because that is the key thing that we want to do. We want to be able to offer our members lower fees. And so on average, when you talk about online banking, monthly bill payment fee, when you're talking about a bank, it could cost you about $6.95 to pay a monthly fee just to pay your bills online. But with the credit union, if you're a member, there is no fee to that. Also, again, at the ATM, that has become a big thing with me recently. I'm not sure why. I guess I'm trying to save everywhere that I can. But when I go to a bank, and I'm being charged some places, depending on where you go, almost $5 to take $20 out. I mean, that just doesn't add up. I'm doing my hands like this, like where's my money going? But when I go to a credit union, I could potentially pay a little bit lower, so about $3 on hand. However, if I'm using my shared branching service, or I use my Element Federal credit card, debit card, I pay no fee for ATM or ITM. And your overdrafts fee. So if you're paying your bills and you pay overpay, and your account is getting overdraft, a bank could charge you $35, where a credit union it could be at $25. So the average credit union account accrues about 35% higher interest than a bank account of the same type. So if you're thinking about opening up a a debit card, your checking your savings account could earn you up to about 35% higher than opening up that same savings account at a bank. Now, we talked a little bit about your money being safe and not keeping your money at home. So I know we only have a few minutes left, but I want to share this with you. So if you keep your money at a bank or credit union, that's where your money is going to be the safest. So if you're banking with a bank, it is secured by the National Credit Union Administration. And then you'll also see our credit unions are the FDIC covered. Thinking about satisfaction, there was a time where credit unions had better customer satisfaction. However, banks have increased their customer satisfaction, and I'm just going to be honest with you. But we are still just a tad bit higher than a bank. So we're both at 80, but we might be at 80.3. And so I'm just going to put that out there. So very similar in customer service. So if customer service is your thing, you can pick between either one. Are there any questions out there, or concerns or interests that you heard from one of our speakers today from the class?
Yeah, we have one. What advice would you give someone that works in the financial institution? What would you give a high school student about money? What kind of advice?
What kind of advice? I am going to turn that question over to our loan officer, Tatiana.
Um, like I said, just start young. You guys are, I'm sure you hear it all the time, and they're probably trying to, instill it into you guys. But I would say just start now. um like she said, the piggy bank start, even just saving like in a small piggy bank will get you started. That can fund your first account, because you have to fund the account, of course, but just start now. Anything that you do from now till 25, it sticks with you. So it's like, you want to educate yourself and make yourself privy to what's going on, and you don't want to get charged a lump sum of fees at a bank, where you could come somewhere where the fees are lesser. We're more member focused. We want to help you. We understand you may have to have a co-signer for your first car, but after that, we work with you to help build credit history and payment history. And once you have that, you can look at getting your first home and things like that. So it's a process. You have to start small, but do your research, plant those seeds, because those plants will grow. And it's really just helped me tremendously. I started and graduated at 17. So I'm 30 now.
Yeah. So I know you have to get ready to go, but in addition to what Tatiana said, I'm just going to quickly say, use the 50-30-20 rule.
Yes.
50% of that goes to your essential needs. 30 is going to what you might want. And then that last one is savings.
That's
And so
right.
you want to put something, a little place everywhere. If you use that rule starting from now, like Tatiana said, you will have what you need saved up for whatever you want.